Welcome back to Simply Sports Science, the home of clear, simple and powerful explanations for everything you need to be successful in IB Sports Science. Okay, let's explore another of our body's most essential systems, the respiratory system. When we talk about performance, endurance and recovery, this is the system that fuels everything. It's the pathway that delivers oxygen to our muscles and removes carbon dioxide, a waste product, from the body. Every breath we take powers every cell, every movement, every heartbeat. So let's break down how it works. The respiratory system is a beautifully organized structure that starts at the nose and mouth and ends deep within the lungs, where oxygen actually enters the blood. Let's go through the journey of air. It begins at the nasal cavity, where air is warmed, filtered and moistened, an important step for protecting the delicate tissues deeper in our system. From there, air passes through the pharynx, the throat, and larynx, the voice box, before entering the trachea or windpipe. The trachea is lined with tiny hair-like structures called cilia and coated with mucus to trap dust and pathogens, like a self-cleaning filter system. The trachea then divides into two bronchi, each leading to a lung. Inside the lungs, these bronchi branch into smaller bronchioles, spreading like the branches of a tree until they end in millions of microscopic air sacs called alveoli. It's at the alveoli where the magic happens, where oxygen enters the bloodstream and carbon dioxide is removed. The alveoli are tiny balloon-like sacs surrounded by a dense network of capillaries. Their structure is perfectly adapted for gas exchange. They have thin walls, just one cell thick, to shorten the diffusion distance. They have an enormous surface area, roughly the size of a tennis court when spread out. They're moist, allowing gases to dissolve easily. And they're surrounded by rich blood supply, constantly bringing in deoxygenated blood and carrying away oxygenated blood. Here's what happens. The oxygen from the air diffuses across the alveolar wall into the blood, where it binds to hemoglobin in red blood cells. At the same time, carbon dioxide, produced as a waste product by our cells, diffuses in the opposite direction, from the blood into the alveoli to be breathed out. This process is known as gaseous exchange, and it's the foundation of aerobic respiration, the process that generates energy for movement. Now let's look at how breathing actually happens, how air gets in and out of the lungs. Breathing, or ventilation, involves two processes: inspiration, inhaling, and expiration, exhaling. During inspiration, the diaphragm, a dome-shaped muscle below the lungs, contracts and flattens. At the same time, the intercostal muscles between the ribs contract, pulling the rib cage upwards and outwards. This increases the volume of the chest cavity, which decreases the air pressure inside the lungs. As a result, air rushes in from the outside where the pressure is higher. During expiration, it's the opposite. The diaphragm relaxes and moves back up. The intercostal muscles relax and the rib cage moves down and in. The chest cavity's volume decreases, pressure rises, and air is pushed out of the lungs. At rest, this process is passive, but during exercise, it becomes active. Additional muscles like the abdominals force air out and draw it in more powerfully to meet the body's increased oxygen demands. Once oxygen has diffused into the blood, it's transported around the body by red blood cells. Each red blood cell contains a protein called hemoglobin, which has a strong attraction for oxygen. Together they form oxyhemoglobin, which travels through the bloodstream to muscles and organs. When the oxygen reaches tissues that need it, such as our working muscles, it detaches from hemoglobin and diffuses into the cells. There it is used for aerobic respiration, producing the energy ATP, which is needed for movement. And meanwhile, carbon dioxide, the byproduct, diffuses out of the muscles and into the bloodstream. Some of it dissolves in plasma, some of it binds to hemoglobin, and it's all eventually carried back to the lungs and is exhaled. This constant exchange of gas is what keeps us alive and fuels our performance. During exercise, everything in the respiratory system ramps up. Breathing rate increases. That's how many breaths you take per minute. Tidal volume increases. That's how much air you take in with each breath. And minute ventilation, the total amount of air entering the lungs each minute, increases dramatically to deliver more oxygen and remove carbon dioxide faster. These changes are controlled by the Respiratory Control Center in the brain, which monitors carbon dioxide levels in our blood. As soon as those levels rise, it automatically increases breathing rate to restore our balance. And over time, regular exercise improves respiratory efficiency. The lungs become more elastic, the diaphragm and intercostal muscles get stronger, and the body becomes better at delivering and using oxygen, a key advantage in endurance sports. So to sum up the respiratory system, it starts with the airways, nose, trachea, bronchi and bronchioles, which transport air into the lungs. The alveoli are the vital exchange sites where oxygen enters the blood and carbon dioxide leaves it. Inspiration and expiration are controlled by the diaphragm and intercostal muscles, adjusting pressure and volume to draw air in and out. Oxygen transport and carbon dioxide removal are carried by the blood, ensuring continuous energy production for movement. And during exercise, every part of the system works harder to meet the body's demands, adapting over time to make athletes more efficient and more resilient. The respiratory system is an incredible design. It's automatic, adaptable, and essential. Every breath is a reminder that the simplest process in the body can also be the most powerful. It fuels our performance, supports our recovery, and keeps us alive every second of every day. Thanks for watching Simply Sports Science. If you found this helpful, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any of our IB Sports Science content. We've got revision guides, exam tips and clear explanations to help you be successful. And don't forget to visit us at www.simplysportscience.co.uk. Join us again next time where we'll keep making sports science simple.